Hi there, I'm Jen Weinhart, Senior Director of Product Development at True Grace, and we're here today to talk about the microbiome. So, what is the microbiome? It is the collection of bacteria and viruses. There's trillions of them in your body. In fact, I believe it's a 10 to 1 ratio of bacteria to cells in your body. And the microbiome is important for maintaining your overall health. The crazy thing about the microbiome is that it actually turns over every 3 days. So it's really important to continuously fuel it properly because when it's imbalanced, it creates things like digestive health, mood imbalances, and immune challenges. The role of the microbiome in the body is to harvest energy from food. It educates the immune system. It reinforces the gut barrier to protect your body against pathogens. It produces metabolites that influence things like the brain, liver, and kidneys. And then it also supports mineral absorption, and that mineral absorption helps support that healthy inflammation response in the body. So whenever the microbiome is imbalanced, that's called dysbiosis. And things that can create dysbiosis in the body include stress. In fact, 1 2 hour episode of stress can significantly impact the gut microbiota for the next 24 hours. Nutrient deficient soil, right? As you guys know, as True Grace fans, our soil is depleted of its nutrients. We have 50% less magnesium in our soil than our grandparents' soil. So we're not getting the nutrients our body needs to fuel us properly, which then creates dysbiosis in the gut. Antibiotic treatment is a big one. In fact, one course of antibiotics increases your risk for anxiety and depression by 20%. Multiple courses takes that risk from 20% to 50%. And then poor diet, right? 60% of the food consumed in the US is processed food, which means it's not giving your body the nutrients it needs to support the microbiome. And again, the microbiome supports your overall health. So, how can you help replenish, right? That, as I mentioned, the microbiome turns over every 3 days. So, it's important to continuously fuel it properly, right? You want to give yourself probiotics, you want to give yourself prebiotics in order to maintain that microbiome. But not all probiotics are created equal, right? There's a few things you need to look for in a probiotic. Number one, you want clinically studied DNA verified strains. You want truly transparent probiotic labels so you know exactly how much of each strain you're getting in there. You want deliverability. You want those probiotics to reach the intestine where it's designed to benefit. Then you want a third party to test it to make sure that it is consistently what you say it is. And then you want viability in packaging, right? You want to be able to come pull that off the shelf in 6 months and know that those probiotics are still alive and still beneficial for the body. So, why clinically studied strains? Why is True Grace so gung ho about clinically studied strains? And the reason for that is because the health benefits from these probiotics are strain specific. For example, Lactobacillus helveticus could be good for the gut, could be good for the gut barrier, but Lactobacillus helveticus Roselle 52 is actually beneficial for your mental health and stress support. So it's something completely different. And you're not going to get that same health benefit, that mental well being, from a different Helveticus strain. So it's really important if you're looking for a specific health application to look at the strains in the probiotics. Not all companies include the strains in the probiotics. For example, here's True Grace's supplement facts panel, right? And you can see that every single strain in there, or every single probiotic in there, is identified all the way down to its strain, right? It's got the genus, it's got the species, and it's got the strain, because we want you to know exactly which strains are in there so that you can identify which product is right for you. And then we go a step further and we put the exact potency of each strain in there. A lot of companies will put the genus and the species, they don't put the strain, and they certainly don't put the amount that each strain is in there. So you have no idea if you're getting a beneficial dose of that bacteria. And then True Grace goes a step further and gets it third party tested. This icon right here is for Purity IQ, and it tells you that every single lot of True Grace has been tested for consistency and identity of its ingredients and the presence of those 12 probiotic strains. Let's see. So, what tests are done on each probiotic strain? Number one is quantitative PCR. qPCR identifies each individual strain in this multi strain probiotic, and it also observes the quantity of each strain to ensure potency. So, this is important to you because, again, the health benefits are both strain and dose specific. So, we want you to know that the strain is in there and it's in there at the potency we say it is. On top of that, we use NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance. And what's really cool about NMR is that it's untargeted, meaning it's looking at the big picture and identifying any unexpected adulterants. A lot of tests are targeted for one specific adulterant, but NMR is looking for anything that's not supposed to be in there. And so this demonstrates consistent quality. In fact, True Grace has fallen in the 98% confidence interval on every single batch, indicating that high consistency, no adulterants, that pure probiotic formula. On top of that, we want deliverability, right? We want to know that when you take a probiotic, it's going to reach your intestine, which is where the microbiome is housed for the most part, so that you can replenish that microbiome. And we do that in two ways. One, we have DR caps, known as delayed response caps, and they are designed to protect the probiotics. These capsules are designed to protect the probiotics from the stomach acid so that they can actually reach the intestine. It then dissolves in the intestine and releases the probiotics there so that it can really support that microbiome. Then we also have these proprietary strains that are resistant to the gut pH, right? Or excuse me, the stomach pH, which is a really low pH, because the stomach is designed to break things down for your intestines. But probiotics, we don't want those broken down in the stomach. We want those released in the intestine. And so the strains themselves are also resistant to the stomach pH, which allows them to be delivered to the intestine where they can really act and benefit and replenish your microbiome. And last but not least, we want viability in packaging, right? We want to be able to go in 6 months and pull this off the shelf and know that those probiotics are still alive and they're still beneficial for you. So we put all of our probiotics in CSP bottles, which help to protect them against heat, light, and moisture, ensuring the stability of the product. So to recap, we have microbiome, which is super important for our overall health. We can support our microbiome by taking probiotics, but not all probiotics are created equal. We want those that are clinically studied. We want to have strain-specific bacteria. You want to be able to identify those strains in that product. And then you want to make sure those strains are delivered to your gut and that they are in packaging that protects those microorganisms. And True Grace is definitely the winner in that. Thank you.